Hello and welcome to This Week in Property. I'm your host Richard Swan, and in today's show we have a glamorous lady joining us. Yes, you'll know that recently we've had a little nice theme going through the podcast. You know, we've had different interviews from time to time, but there's also been this nice theme of bringing in the ladies, the power ladies who are just smashing it in the business world, in the property world, and telling their stories, you know, getting those stories out to you so that you can enjoy them, be encouraged by them, be inspired by them, and maybe even connect with them and work with them. Maybe you'll be that lucky, who knows. And this glamorous lady, my goodness, we are in the Scottish heatwave just now, and this lady, who's arrived by plane, may I add, has came out of a car like, I don't know, like Charlize Theron in Monaco at some kind of red carpet. The entrance was unbelievable. And it's the beautiful, the wonderful Tanya McGeehan. Hello, Tanya. Welcome.
Hi, Richard. How are you?
What an entrance. What an introduction. We've built you up. It was fantastic. It was a beautiful moment. It was like the red carpet was going to come out for you.
I happened to have my cheaters on at that particular moment, so that helps.
You've got to be comfortable. So, in fact, you know something? Let's start there. Sorry, we've heard that you've got the beautiful twang with Northern Ireland. That's going to be covered. Another great thing for the listeners. So beautiful, brilliant. Finally, someone from my area, someone that knows about, you know, my market and the supply, demand, everything that's gone there. That's great. We can get to chat to her. But how was the flight? How are things these days? We're starting to hopefully come out of things. Did you survive with the mask on?
Survived, yeah. It's fine. We're all coming out of it. I'm not going to complain. It's great. There's light at the end of the tunnel. That's the most important thing. It is difficult, especially in these temperatures, to get used to the masks. It was definitely a little bit warm and stuffy, but nonetheless, the sun is out and there is light at the end of the tunnel, so it's all good. All good.
Positive news. Positive. I love that. Brilliant. I love that. And you know, we'll chat about how you went on last year. How did you cope? The whole pandemic. How was business? What did you see, etc. We'll get to that point. But we need to let people know you. Okay. I'm lucky enough, I've got to know you. Full disclosure, I know you through Paul McFadden's property protégé training. We know you because you're in his special platinum group and you work with him one-on-one, so that's brilliant. But for everyone else to get to know you, who is Tanya? How did this all start? Because we're going to chat about property. We're going to chat about the projects you're doing, all these things, and it's amazing what you're doing in these moments. But what was life before that? What's the whole, you know, the background, the childhood, the career path? What's before?
Oh, where do I start? Well, I am 43-year-old Tanya, mother of Shay, Eva and Mia, who are 10, 13, 14. Brilliant. And wife to Stephen, who were almost married 17 years, right, which really makes me feel really old. I am the eldest of 4 girls. Right. And so all best friends as well as sisters, and my mother is like my best friend and like another sister as well. Love so it. Yeah, that's the immediate family, and had great upbringing. I have to say it was all the great memories, and my journey then into property, I suppose, from that great upbringing was through my father, who had his own property business. Aha. So he actually left school at 16. Right. Went straight into work in the bank. Right. Was always very intelligent, but always had an entrepreneurial spark to him from like when he was in single digits, the amount of stories. So that entrepreneurial spark is definitely in the DNA, as I always say. And so he actually worked in the Bank of Ireland for 20 years and took an early retirement package, early redundancy package at the young age of 36. Wow. And used that package to start his journey into property. So I suppose we, from a very, very young age, I've been introduced to property and I've grown up with property. Fantastic. His business was primarily the buy-to-let rental market, so that's where his business lay. Okay. So yeah, loads of memories, loads of stories of going around with my dad collecting rent and seeing the damage that was done in student houses around Belfast. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you've seen it all?
Oh, I've seen it all. We could tell lots of stories there. So brilliant, yeah, it was great. And in fact, funny, we were chatting about this on Sunday with my kids. Every Sunday in our house growing up was spent with my mum and dad bringing us 4 girls in the car, driving around looking at all these gorgeous houses and picking ideas to then together as a family design what would be our new home together.
Really?
So we'd point out who would like this and who would like that. So that was actually how our Sundays were spent doing.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it was fun. But unfortunately then, the pathway took a bit of a tragic change in that my father at 53 years of age was diagnosed with early onset dementia, and within a very short space of time, a week after he turned 57, he passed away. So whenever he was diagnosed in 2009, but we kind of knew there was something not right from 2008, and started doing all the checking in and finding out what ultimately the diagnosis was. But in that period of time, things had started slipping in the business, as in, things weren't getting done the way he always would have been completely on top of them. And none of us girls worked in the business. It was him and my mum's business. And my mum also worked herself, so she wasn't actually in the business firsthand. So whenever things started, we noticed a change. My mum contacted me to say that she needed help. So at that stage, I was working full time.
Right.
My kids were I only had 2 out of my 3 kids at that point in time. So it was, they were very young. So that was on a Friday evening. I'll never forget the Friday evening. We had a family meeting. My mum said, "Tanya, you're the eldest. We need you to step in here and help us run the business."
Wow.
And on the Monday morning, I walked into my employer and said, "I've got to go part-time, and there's no option here." So they were absolutely brilliant, and they very much allowed that to happen instantly.
That's quite a weekend.
Yeah, that was intense.
How did you feel with it? The Friday is the chat, Monday is the action point. How does Tanya cope with the Saturday, Sunday in between?
There was nothing even to discuss. It was a case of, this is what needs to happen.
This is it. The family springs into action.
Yeah, this is what needs to happen.
And did you also feel that the eldest thing, I can totally relate to that duty, obligation? Oh, well, I'm up, I'm first out the road, this is Matt, right, okay.
Yes.
Did you feel that?
I did, absolutely. 100%. Eldest, I kind of felt that fell to me. Also, because I was the eldest, I was the one that would have been maybe up and about in Belfast with my father, round the various properties, more than maybe the other girls were.
Course.
So I maybe seen more of it at that time. And also 2 out of 4 of us lived across the water in London.
Right.
So, and from a logistic point of view as well, it made sense for me. So yeah, it was a huge change. And the next few years that was in 2009, April 2009, and my father passed away in March 2012. So I was 3 years involved in the business at that stage, and it wasn't just the business. I was running the business, but also my mum went out to work a couple of days, so I looked after my dad while doing that.
Well.
So it was a very very challenging years, no doubt, very very hard.
Absolutely.
And also with kids, I was also expecting my 3rd kid then. So it was an absolute roller coaster.
How have you coped through that period?
Do you know what?
My goodness.
Like everything, it builds resilience. And my dad always would have been a massive believer in learning from life experiences, whether good or bad. So, it taught us so much. It was exceptionally emotional. Yeah. When I look back at it, I think, how did I ever survive? Because the stories, which we'll not go into detail on, but were horrendous, really, really horrendous. Dementia is a very difficult illness, it really
challenging
is.
For so many people around the person, the family really leans on them.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It really is, absolutely. So, I'm a very positive person, so when you talk about your glass being half empty or half full, mine is overflowing most of the time, and that positivity is throughout our whole household with me and my mum and my sisters, and my dad was like that. So it was a case of, okay, what do we have to do here? Let's get started. I'm renowned as being a spreadsheet queen, so I got into spreadsheets literally over relation to us 4 girls and making sure that one of us were there every single weekend with my mum.
You have just given me a flashback to the Tanya in London property protege. Richard, can you spare me a couple of minutes to look at my spreadsheet?
Oh, that's right.
Oh my goodness, that was fantastic.
That is true. Well, I've always been a spreadsheet.
So that's always been there. Right.
That is there always. So we had spreadsheets even, and my dad would actually laugh at this, to be fair. We had spreadsheets then for sorting out to make sure that my mum was never on her own, that it was my weekend once. Yeah, and then Aisling, Lisa and Roisin's weekend, and even my sister Roisin, fair play to her, at the time she worked for Tesco head office property. property department in London, and she organised it that she had to come home every fourth Wednesday, work from home work from home Thursday and Friday. So then she was with my mum and my dad as well.
For that
so she did her period as well.
There you go.
So us girls, forced
really
to be reckoned
that
with.
family's really got that ethic then, haven't you? It's
we do.
Everybody's involved.
Yes.
We're all part of this, and sometimes we just need to get the sleeves rolled up. You're doing this. You're doing right. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. That's a fantastic thing.
It really is.
There's a lot of strength from that.
The four of us together are forced to be reckoned with. So, but out of everything, there's always something positive to be gained from it. So I found my passion and my pathway into property 12 years ago now. I suppose, is it 12? Yeah, 12 years ago. Through a very, very difficult time in our lives. So I still look after the family's buzzbusiness. I help my mum with that to this day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
And funny, before that, there was the entrepreneurial spark was definitely there. I had set up, along with my sister, our own sandwich cafe shop, and we tried to do a lot of things that are different back then. And Macrofelt, our hometown, just weren't ready for them at that time. And they certainly are now. So we did that way back in 2005 and tried that. So I was always trying different things, and probably was never, I never was 100% content in any of the jobs that I was in prior to coming into property, and my whole family would vouch for that. So so they were delighted.
Is it just that feeling of constraint, feeling of no, Tanya, just do your job and nothing more? Is it that you feel that if you're put in that kind of role?
I just was never 100% satisfied. It was just a job, and I just I never felt challenged enough, I just never felt me really getting my teeth into something. I was doing the job because, you had to work, pay the bills, and it was done. So I tried, and I tried lots of different industries. So my dad would be absolutely delighted that I'm here today working in this industry.
I'll bet.
Would have plenty of things to tell me that I'm not doing right. There's no doubt about that. And we would clash.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, we're very, very similar minds. But he'd be delighted. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah. What a background. I mean, God, you're just set up for success. Because you've got that whole, the mum and the sisters in you, that powerful female energy, strength, character, resilience. Let's get this done, girls, come on. And then you've got the dad, you've got that kind of, the role model person with the business, entrepreneurial spark, thinking outside the box. You've got the whole background there of that. I can picture you travelling around and look at that house and what would you do there? What would you do? I mean, what a background, what a foundation. That's tremendous. Absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
Do you feel or see yourself carrying that on with your own family, your own kids? Has that started? Is there chats around the table about what mum, dad's up to? Are they with their ages and everything? Is it something you're deliberately thinking about? Or you're trying to avoid it and keep them away from that? How are you looking at it? Because you're now at the top of your family tree, your wee bubble. So you're the matriarch there. How are you carrying that forward? Well,
my children are very, very aware of the business. I mean, they can't avoid it because my office is actually outside my front door. And actually, up until January of this year, it was at the kitchen table throughout COVID. So they were very much seeing me and involved in my work every day, so they're very well aware of it. The two, they know what we do. They know 100% what we do. They ask lots of questions.
Brilliant.
Level of interest, I have to say, 2 teenagers.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, they're not at the stage yet of being overly interested.
It's a whole other podcast, isn't it?
Yes, that's another.
My goodness.
That's a whole other conversation. And it's not because they don't care. It's just because it's not of particular interest to them. Their friends and their bubble at the minute is number one. Yeah. But they, every once in a while you will get a question asked. So what one's that you're doing, or how does that add up? And if they come into the office and they'll see my big whiteboard up on the wall, they'll be like, "There's a lot more on that now." And there's a few.
So they are seeing things. They are taking it in.
Yeah. And I definitely see, like my eldest is saying at the moment that he doesn't want to go to university.
Ah, okay.
And I don't want to be one of those parents that's saying you're absolutely going to university. You must go to university. I don't want to say that, but what I have said to him, that's fine. He's 4th year, by the way. So he's GCSE now, so he's got 3 more years, hopefully, of secondary school before university comes into play. So I've said to him, that's fine, but then you must come to me with an alternative option because the bank of mum and dad is not an option. So by all means, come to me with whatever creative, and I says I will absolutely, completely encourage and support, and actually will give you a helping hand to get started on whatever entrepreneurial alternative pathway you come to me and your dad with, and we'll discuss it. And then he said he wanted to be a pro gamer, and I goes, yeah, university. Yeah.
He blew it.
You're going to university. So we've so that one was not really kind of
that's been dismissed.
That's been dismissed by me. But as I said, yes, on all the times you are spending on the computer, if you want to come up with ways of creating apps or some other great technological advance that none of us have heard of yet, by all means explore it rather than just playing it.
Yeah, that's
yes. So anyway, we'll wait to see. But there is a wee entrepreneurial spark in him.
Right.
So that remains to be seen. We'll see how that goes.
Is he maybe get the same DNA as you, that he's not getting constrained in a job, constrained in university? Yeah,
he is my father through and through, and my dad was very intelligent, very creative, and total entrepreneur. So Shay is definitely
brilliant.
Oh yeah, I say that all the time.
That's fantastic.
So
fantastic.
It's great. Yeah.
I love it.
It's great for them to see me working from home as well, because sometimes when you go
that's a big thing.
It is, because when you go to a 9-to-5 job, or it might not necessarily be 9-to-5, but you know, they don't actually see you working. They just know you leave home and you come back in the evening.
That's right.
Whereas when they actually see me doing stuff, I think it's great to help instill a wee bit of work ethic in them. And my youngest, who's only 10, she does struggle a little bit with the late hours. If I would go out of the house, I would go into the office till late at night during the week.
Right.
But my thing with them always is that during the week we all work hard.
Right.
Weekend is family time, chill time. So during the week we don't do movie nights. So
not with the family as a group.
Not with the family, no, because it's just that's when they do their homeworks.
Right.
That's when they have their activities. That's when they do whatever their school work requires. That's for them to do, and that's when mum and dad do working. And if we work late at night and we have late night calls, that's understandable, and that's to be accepted and expected. And then very much the weekend we say, okay, family time, chill time, we do lots of things together. So I do think it's important that they get that wee bit of clarity, because then they don't think that it's not that you're not spending time with them.
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
Because
it could be the two extremes, couldn't it? And I think people can fall into those traps really, really easily. We know people who it's just work all the time, you know, and the kids are mum, no, not the now, snapping at them, you know, not kind of giving them the time and the love and the affection they really need. And then there's the other side where, whatever, you know, the government will take care of things. I don't do your homework. Or, you know what, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll finish that tomorrow. It's not important. I know that client's waiting on me, but those are both bad habits for kids to see.
It's getting the balance between the two, you know. And then I think if you explain it to them, I say particularly the younger ones, my older two are older, they understand. But especially younger kids, as long as it's explained to them and then they understand, this is the routine, these are the rules, these are the boundaries, and then I think everybody's okay with that. So she's fine now, you know, but it has taken a bit of time, because they haven't been used to mummy working as hard, as many hours, because the business has very much certainly increased in the last 12 months particularly, so the level of work has increased with that, so it's just about explaining that as we go along, but it's all good.
That's it. Then you're getting that new business, new thing into control, and right now it's systemised and everything's fine again. And, you know, it's phases, isn't it? Cycles that you can see.
It is.
And that balance, I mean, my God, if someone knows how to balance things, I'm thinking back to those 3 years and stuff you had with your dad and stuff. It's incredible the amount of hats you were wearing there.
It was.
Moving forward and carrying that resilience, do you struggle? Do you find it easy having that balance of being the mum, the business owner, the property investor, everyone is doing this, and then the mum who's keeping an eye on everyone? Are you okay? Do you need help with anything? How do you find the whole life, structure?
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a walk in the park. It's far
Mary
from
Poppins.
it. I mean, no. I mean, and if anybody does, fair play to them. They've mastered it better than me. Then there's no doubt it's a challenge. It is tough wearing all hats. I am a huge person for work-life balance, massively so. I would never allow my work to overtake the life. I like meeting up with my friends. I like meeting up with my family. I like having downtime to watch movies with my kids. That's a big one for us. So for me, getting that balance right is absolutely fundamental to everything we do. Otherwise, what's the point? I genuinely would question, and I do take stock, and every once in a while check myself and think, okay, are we okay here on that balance?
Okay, so you're always reassessing.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, I do. I mean, would take a step back and actually look and think, okay, have I spoke to Eva or Mia or Shay? Do I know where they're at now? Have I been to their camogie match, to their football match? Getting that is absolutely crucial. My kids are all very active in various sports clubs.
So we've got that element as well, the health, the well-being.
Every single night. When I say every night, I mean literally every single night of the week. And they're all three are going to different. So you have to also get the balance of, I'm going to watch Eva's camogie match tonight, or Shay's football, or Mia's gymnastics. And it is about getting that balance between them all. But you know what? It's fine. It's manageable. A bit like what you guys always say, and particularly Paul, what's not scheduled doesn't get done.
Yes.
So I do like to schedule, and everything is scheduled. At times, you actually have to schedule for unscheduling time. I mean, that sounds really strange, but it's true.
So true.
As in a period of time, like will it be a Saturday or Sunday, will it be both, where actually we are not scheduling, we are not doing anything that involves the timing. That's really important too.
Yeah,
because
agree.
Sometimes working to the clock is not good, as you know. So, I mean, lots and lots of different hats. But you know what? We all have the same 24 hours, and I do think if you schedule it, you can get a lot done in a day. But I'm not a 5 a.m. club person.
Right, yeah.
I'm not. So, hats off to those people who do that. But you still get it fitted in.
Yeah, you've got it structured the way that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as well as those challenges that every mother, every parent will definitely recognise what you're talking about there. The mum's taxis and the multiple clubs and everything else, and trying to structure that with your job and everything. Are you also finding the benefit of running your own business, actually being the boss, deciding the time zones? There's no mad commute to this place here and then you're clicking a clock before you're allowed back out. You're enjoying that side of it as well?
Oh, I think most, particularly female entrepreneurs, would say that's one of the best. The best elements of being working for yourself is the flexibility. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, you don't do less hours working for yourself. But you're more flexible. So I can stop to collect the kids from school, or I can go to the football or the camogie, or whatever appointment there may be. I can work around that, and I'll know that because I'll schedule it. So if a client's looking to have a call or have to do a site visit, I'll do that in the morning before I lift my daughter at 3 o'clock or so forth. It's great. And if I go to a camogie match later on in the evening, I'll come back and I'll go and do work after that.
Brilliant.
So I have to say, I feel very blessed with that. That's absolutely brilliant. The flexibility is first class.
I love
it.
Right, what are these matches? What are you talking about? What? Is this a Northern Irish thing? What is this? What are they doing?
Well, my son is in 3 different football teams.
Oh, jeez.
So one of which is soccer and 2 are Gaelic. So
Gaelic
football.
Version,
yes.
Fantastic.
So yes, he's under 15, under 17.
Full on in it.
Full on. And my daughter plays football and for 2 different camogie teams. So they have 3 teams each.
Right.
So between training and matches, it's nearly every single night, which is great for them. Gets them away from screens and keeps them active.
These days,
yeah, it's brilliant. And then my daughter is a huge gymnastics, so she trains 16 hours a week at the minute. So yeah, she does a lot of gymnastics, which is great.
These kids have got a good work ethic. They've got a good focus in health, fitness, mobility, everything.
Oh,
that's
absolutely, it's key. But they love it. So as long as they love it,
there's a pleasure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, if they said to me they didn't want to go, I'm not going. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say, okay, you can give up everything, because I think they all need some element of exercise and physical activity. But if they didn't want to do it all, that's fine. They can certainly give up some. So
brilliant.
It's all good.
Brilliant. Right, let's go region-wise. So Northern Ireland, how on earth does this work? What's it like? What's your opinions? What are your experiences? Because it's inside the UK. It's part of the UK property market. Great, but it is special. It's a certain region, and it's got its things about it. What should we know about it? Maybe if someone is in let's call it the mainland UK, someone's in England and they've got a pot of cash, they're hoping to work with you as an investor. Good luck to them if they can try and squeeze some of your time out. What's that market like? Is it good? Is it vibrant? Are the yields good? Is it more rental than ownership? How would you kind of summarise that market?
Yeah, Northern Ireland for me is a really unique area. We have the benefit of being part of the UK, as you've rightly so said, but we're also part of the island of Ireland.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have we have the benefit of being able to work with those companies and businesses and in the south of Ireland. There's going to be a lot of opportunity and advantages for our position and our geographical location with Brexit, etc., and our access to the EU because of the fact that we're in the one country, as well as our obviously being part of the UK. So we have a lot to offer. And I sometimes think that Northern Ireland does get a little bit forgotten about, without a doubt. But people like myself and other entrepreneurs from Northern Ireland will make sure that nobody forgets about us. We'll keep shouting loud about it.
Flying the flag.
So in terms of property, oh my goodness, so many opportunities simply because our house prices are so much lower than the rest of the majority of the UK. Our house prices have never caught back up from where they were in 2007.
Is that right?
They haven't. No, we're about 35%, and somebody hopefully won't quote me in exactly, but circa 35% still from where we were in 2007. So we still have that growth to catch up on.
Yeah.
So it means that any talk, and I will stress the word talk, at the minute about any house price crash. I personally do not, in my professional opinion, don't feel that Northern Ireland is going to suffer from any big house price crash in a number of years' time, because the fact that we don't have as far to fall because we never climbed up to that level.
It's sitting. Gotcha. Okay.
Now, in terms of activity at the minute, we're the same as everywhere else. We're absolutely, it's extremely buoyant. It's extremely busy, very, very active. But I think that's pretty much across the whole of the UK at the minute, which is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think the last 12 months is really pretty much, everybody's been shocked by the activity in the ground. Everybody thought that there was going to be a crash in house prices when after the first lockdown last summer, and it's been the complete opposite, and the growth has been absolutely incredible. The stats speak for themselves. At the minute, it is very much a seller's market. The people are queuing up to buy properties in Northern Ireland. They're also queuing up to rent.
Right, both so you've seen that as well?
Both markets are extremely buoyant. They really are.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. It's fantastic to see. So no matter which professional I'm talking to at the minute, whether it be a estate agent, a conveyancing solicitor, surveyor, they're all crazy busy, as are the tradesmen. Really, really, really busy, which is absolutely brilliant to see. But I mean, are there still deals to be done, and are there still deals to be got and business to be done? Without a shadow of doubt, I'm doing it. I'm doing it every day of the week, as are lots of other people in the industry. So it's for people, and I've had lots of calls, as I'm sure lots of other people have, people thinking, I'm going to wait until such and such a time and see how it goes.
Putting it off.
Yes.
Right, okay.
I had one person actually reach out to me and said that they're going to wait to August.
Specifically August.
I was like, okay, what's happening in August? Am I missing out on something happening in August in Northern Ireland property market that I'm unaware of? It's so specific. It's like, right, okay, I have to respect that. That's fine. Don't think really anything's going to change massively, except that it's going to keep going up by August. So you may have missed a few months of potential growth in your portfolio had you have invested then. So it's a great market at the minute. It's brilliant, and I still only see it going up for the next, certainly the rest of the calendar year, and probably into maybe, I definitely think we'll still see it continuing to rise into quarter one, possibly into quarter two next year.
Right.
I think it's a great time to invest in property. I mean, money has never been cheaper. The liquidity in the market is absolutely phenomenal. There's so much money out there, which is very different to the previous financial crisis, which was a bank crisis. This is not a banking crisis.
That's right. We've got to remind ourselves of that.
This is very, very different. And that's why people really have to be mindful of that, is it's very, very different. So I don't foresee interest rates being increased for quite a number of years, and even if they are, as you well know, they're not going to be. It's going to be done gradually.
Very slow. You can adjust to it, etc.
So there are still a lot of opportunities. Loads.
Brilliant. And actual location-wise, is there specific areas that you target on? Because everyone knows the city of Belfast. Northern Ireland, Belfast, right? Done. Brilliant. Is there any specific parts that you specialise in?
I am very much mainly based in Belfast.
Right.
That is my main gold mine area, if you like.
Right.
But within, like in any city, you can split it up into different segments. And so I will have certain areas in Belfast that I will focus on for buy to flips.
Right.
And certain areas that I will focus on for portfolio building.
Right.
And simply just down to the value of the house prices.
Right.
For portfolio building, if we want higher yields, you're going to go to areas where the house prices are are lower. Whenever I'm looking for a flip, I'll always go to areas that are affluent, well established, will always be sought after, where people are really actively looking to move and live in, where the good schools are. So yeah, I have very specific areas that I choose for those particular strategies.
Okay. Yeah. And the actual strategies, the actual areas, you know, are you enjoying certain? But I really love the portfolio. But no, I love the refurbs, Richard. It's seeing a place changing. No, it's more kind of land things. And where's the excitement? Where's the focus? Because you can do so much.
Yeah, there's so much. Exactly. We do pretty much quite a lot of the different strategies, so we do offer and work with a lot of the different strategies. My own personal favourite is still going to be the buy to flip.
Is it?
Yeah, whenever I set MCG Investments up over 4 years ago now, I set it up solely to do the buy to flips. I had been working in my parents' business, which was, as I said earlier, mainly the rental portfolio side. So I had done that for quite a while, and I was still going to be continuing to work there, but I wanted to pursue a different area, which was the buy to flips. And I, just like you described, I just love being able to see the progress and changing it from a tired, maybe distressed property into an absolutely beautiful family home, and I love that to this day. That definitely excites me. Although probably now in more recent times, I'm also getting very excited by the prospect, because we're only moving into that area of new builds and commercial to residential. So that's a very new area for us, and I suppose like anything new is exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
what's this? How's this going to go?
Absolutely.
How did that come about? That wee change, that wee pivot? Is that a decision? Was it just something that came from working with specific people?
Is this in relation to the commercial residential new builds?
Yep.
Well, I suppose it's been part of the bigger plan. I suppose it's part of the growth plan for the company. We never wanted to always stay solely working on portfolio building and buy to flips. It was always about increasing the range of services, number one, for our clients and also for ourselves, in order to enable us to grow. And in order for us to grow, you have to go into bigger projects and have a wider offering. We'll always still, well, at the moment we plan to always still offer the portfolio building, because it's a great part of the business that I always call like our cash cow of the business. You know, it is that great section of the business for that. So we always plan to provide that service for clients. But then the other projects, the capital projects, help the company to grow.
Exactly.
And so new builds, I suppose, has always been part of my, if you want, for a 5-year plan. I don't really like saying 5-year plans, it's a bit of a cliche, because I'm like, why am I waiting for 5 years?
What's it now?
It's a 5-year in that, if you like, plan, but it's very much how quick can we move? Can we move to that plan? But so I've always been, as much as doing the other side of the business and the core services, always still out looking for any potential opportunities, chatting to the right people. And for me, the right people are people that are way bigger and further on in their journey than I am, who are doing much bigger projects, investing in much bigger, high level new build schemes, for example, or commercial to residential, whichever the case may be. And then if I'm with them, then they'll motivate me, they'll help, I learn from them, and that's what I'll aim to move to. And then once I hopefully reach there, then my aim will move on to someone else that's even bigger again. So it's always kind of moving that goalpost further ahead to with the aim of achieving what someone else in front of you has already achieved. So yes, I suppose the new build and the commercial residential has come from the overall riding growth for the business.
Growth plan, going
growth
bigger
plan.
And bigger and bigger. It's this expansion, it's fantastic. Numbers wise, you know, we're chatting away about Northern Ireland, about the market, about the rentals, the portfolios, etc. Investors and stuff working with you. What kind of yields are we talking these days? What's the kind of market looking at?
That's a bit of a wide ranging one, because I always say, I don't like to commit definitely to a figure.
No, exactly.
Because even if I'm speaking to investors, because it can completely, you know, it's a wide range in yield. But on average in Northern Ireland, what am I currently on average getting portfolio building clients? 9.5% yields.
Really, it's right up there. Yeah,
but have we have achieved properties for clients where we've got sourced them for yielding 11%, 12%.
Wow.
And then it depends on the client, because as you know, certain clients will maybe prefer that we source properties for them in a higher capital growth area, which automatically will have lower yields. So if that is particularly that is a criteria preference that they particularly want to achieve, and they're looking at it for the longer term where they want to be a more affluent area. That's entirely their choice, that's fine. But we always will advise them then, because it's a higher house price area, your yields will be slightly lower. But that's fine. So you can go down. I mean, some people will go to 6 or 7%. I would always advise to try and stay above the 7%. But it's entirely up to them.
Yeah, it's great how you can tailor that to them, You've got that expertise, the contacts, the resources, you've got all those different opportunities. What is it you need? Right, okay, let me guide you over this way, or let me guide you in this section of the city, that kind of stuff. Brilliant. I mean, you're chatting there about, from 6 away up to 11, 12, there'll be people at south of England and London just falling off their chairs. What did she say? What?
Exactly.
Anything above 2.5%? Mike, I can't get any return on my money.
And that's not even mentioning the price of the house prices
just to begin with, the actual purchase. Exactly. The kind of process, the conveyancing, the solicitors, everything else, that whole journey again. We need to repeat, it's inside the UK property market. People, they need to remember this. But how are you finding it? Kind of typical speeds, turnover, etc. Doing the transactions, getting things through.
Well, conveyancing, I suppose, is the one area that takes the longest, and that's just outside of all of our control. We are at the mercy of the statutory departments, your land and property services, your conveyancing solicitors. We work with 3 different legal firms, and that's just to allow us to ensure that we try to keep the process moving as fast as we can for our clients.
Workloads and stuff. That's
so
fantastic.
That if one legal firm has maybe got too many of either mine, or also I know that they've got too many on their plate, full stop, from other clients, then we'll consider using other legal firms, and we're very upfront and transparent with them legal firms, so they know that we're working with them, with a couple of them. So that's my biggest issue and thorn in my side is the conveyancing process. It's actually getting slower and slower and longer, but there's no point in me complaining about it.
No,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And it's outside our control, and if you can't control it, you just have to find a way of getting on with it. In terms of everything else, like sourcing, acquiring properties, that again, I never really put a timeline on that with clients, because I would say I can get you a property tomorrow, or it could be in a couple of months, because it'll have to be the right property that suits your criteria that you have communicated to me. So we don't promise, and the word guarantee is never ever used ever. With us, so we'll just say we will aim to try our best and get it as quickly as possible. But I mean, we have 19 projects on the go at the minute.
Fantastic.
Over a range of different stages. In conveyancing, on the market, in refurb, across the different strategies. So there's a lot going on there.
There certainly is. You're a busy girl.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got you.
Great.
I tell you, we had to fly you in the sunshine.
Would I miss that opportunity now, Richard? Never.
Brilliant.
Never.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
The journey itself, and you're at this end here thinking, oh my God, we've got managing 19 different things all in the one go. Brilliant. But if you look across it all and looking back, the ups, the downs, the challenges, the satisfaction, the milestones, what pops into your head? What's been the challenges that you've had? What's been that was a great one, I love doing that one, that particular one, or what sticks out?
In terms of actual projects, or the journey.
Yeah, well, it's both, because it could be that it's just a general life business thing that you've had to deal with, or it could be, there was this one place that, honest to goodness, the stuff we came up against, or you should have seen the transformation in this one, it was amazing, What's those hot spots?
Well, for me, first of all, for by the flips anyway, is that there's always going to be the challenges. I mean, there's not going to be one that's ever going to be 100% fine. There's going to be some kind of an issue. And as I always say to the guys that I work with, I have the same team that I've had for years. I always say to them, okay, that's happened.
Right.
There's a different one of whatever this example is. We had that example in the last house. So all I care about is what's the solution. Just bring me the solutions. We can manage whatever the problem is, because there's always going to be unforeseen issues. That is part and parcel of that particular type of project strategy, property strategy. So there's loads of challenges always. One that sticks out in mind, and it wasn't to do with the refurb, but it actually was the sale of the property.
Right.
Fell through 4 times. The fourth sale agreed.
That was the one
that's completed.
Right.
But the 3 before that fell through. So that was really frustrating.
Oh my
and that
goodness.
was at an earlier, a number of years ago, at an earlier stage when I wasn't working with investors or anything.
Right.
It was solely just me working, for myself with my
Right.
own pot of capital for projects for myself. So as you can imagine back then, and this was Prodigy, so before we had educated ourselves, and hence why we had to come and educate ourselves. But for example, that one, and through no fault of ours or the conveyancing or the estate agent or anything, it was actually totally 3 different reasons. For example, the one that always sticks out, I always tell everyone because you couldn't write it, it was due to complete. I mean, we're talking like the very end of the conveyancing process. It was due to complete, I think it was around the 15th of December.
Right.
No, maybe it was due to complete maybe the 18th or 20th of December, something like that, on the mouth of Christmas. And on the 15th, the couple broke up.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I mean, they had signed the contract at their side, and so had I, but the contracts hadn't been exchanged.
Over.
So we are talking the 11th hour, and unfortunately, the couple split up, and they very quickly withdrew from the sale. Or from the purchase, should I say, in their situation, because they didn't want to be buying a property together when they were. Now, I mean, what are you going to do there? Like you just.
That's not a paperwork issue.
You couldn't write that. But I was like, whenever the solicitor rang me to say, Tanya, and this was the 3rd time.
This was the 3rd one.
This was the 3rd one. I was like, you are seriously joking
Sit
me.
down, wait till you hear this one.
On the mouth of Christmas, you like to finish and tie things up before you finish up for Christmas.
Exactly.
Now I have to say, to be fair to the estate agent, the edit was agreed again first week of January, and that one.
Good.
That one
good.
did
That was the
complete.
fourth time lucky.
4th time lucky. So now, if anybody ever says to me about the market, and I always say, there is a buyer for every property.
Yeah.
It may take time, but we will get there.
There might be a bit of fun along the way.
And a few. So yeah, there's been lots of ups and downs like that as well.
Right. And the satisfaction's the thing, the project, the deal, the refurb, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Kind of pops out for you
The
there.
satisfaction is just coming in at the very end. I absolutely love the bit when the tradesmen are all finished and I go in to do all the nice bit of staging the properties, do the nice light fittings, the candles, the flowers, the plants.
Brilliant. Bring out the creativity in you.
What female doesn't like doing that? So yes, I love that bit, and my mum always likes to come along for that part.
Oh,
she's not so quick to volunteer maybe before that.
But it's all mucky and dusty.
And I love seeing, actually I really love seeing the estate agents his face when they come back in and see it at the end.
Is that right?
And I will always sell through the agent that I buy it off. So
right, so they do see the difference.
It's just, and that's just something that's an unwritten rule for me.
That's
that
a great idea.
if I buy a property from an agent, I'll automatically give it to them to sell. I think that's only fair. Now, don't get me wrong, if they're not selling it after a number of weeks, then I'll maybe bring another agent onto it, because that's just down to the business. But yeah, I do always let them know, okay, you're going to get the sale of this property at the end. And I love seeing their face. Yes, and I have there
in the same place.
Oh, it's brilliant seeing it. And they're used to seeing properties changing all the time, but they themselves actually must constantly get that nice satisfaction as well from a property that they've sold that was distressed till a property they're bringing back on the market again, and they're really excited to bring it on.
Exactly.
So I have that exact experience right now where we had 3 apartments. We've been very strongly marketing them, so everybody's probably fed up hearing me talk about them because we really went strong on the marketing of them. But there were 3 apartments, and they're in a beautiful area of Belfast, but they were very, very distressed, very tired, needed a lot of work done. And as I say, the agent that sold them to me then got them again, and it was just a couple of weeks ago. We had a big PR launch day on site at the property, and so he came along at the end of the day then for me to officially hand him over the keys to get on the market. He couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was great. So I do get a great satisfaction. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Because you're keeping that business relationship going. I'm going to buy this off of you, and I'm going to work with you again on the selling. So that's great relationship building. I'm quite sure they'll be delighted with that. And of course, you're then building that connection that they'll chat to you about some opportunities that are coming along. But then you're also you're doing that emotional part of the puzzle, because they're the people who are going to be bringing buyers in.
Yes.
So if they know, if they can feel it, and you should have see what they've done here, see what Tanya's done with this room, it's unbelievable. Wait till you see the fireplace and the such and such. They can actually bring out that enthusiasm, and that's part of the sale.
It is, absolutely.
It's tremendous.
Well, I communicate with them as well before I start on site at a property, because they know the area, they'll know the potential end market.
That's their expertise.
So I invite them along at the very beginning to say, okay, if this was yours, what do you think we should do with it? Like, do you think you should go for a wooden floor or tile? Should you make this open plan? What type of kitchen? Tell me your thoughts. Is this a property that needs to have the bath and the shower on its own sufficient?
Who's in this area? Who's looking for this? Who's on your books?
They know it better than I do.
Exactly.
So that's why I always ask the agents for their just for their professional opinion and what they would do. I might not necessarily do it all, but I'll certainly value and take on board.
You're going to factor that in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Absolutely.
That speaks volumes for you, because I think if someone had the success that you've got, there's a wee complacency there. You could drift into arrogance, drift into not listening to other voices. But no, you're much more open than that. You're much more kind of open-minded and thinking, well, wait a minute, if I'm going to work with an expert, I might as well listen to their expert advice.
Absolutely.
What's the point in not doing that?
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah, more.
And then, as you say, doesn't have to go by that to the letter.
No,
it's just one factor
absolutely.
coming in.
Absolutely.
Stuff.
So it's great.
Oh, I tell you, you're on fire, girl. You are on fire. I knew I would enjoy this. I just didn't think I'd enjoy it so much. I don't want to tie you your time for hours and hours and hours. Right. So let's think about the future then. You've got the company. You've got your, I don't know what your spreadsheets are like for those 19 projects. I mean, my God, that must be, the whiteboard must be out of control. So it's great to hear all that stuff. What's in the future? What can you say? What are you chasing? What are you aiming for? You spoke about obviously the commercial to resi, etc., and that'll grow and expand. Anything else you want to kind of target?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've just, as of last week, just agreed our first land site purchase, which is really exciting, which is brilliant. No, there's still a lot of work. I mean, as you'll know, from agreeing from this stage to even getting shovel on site, let alone completed, there's an awful lot of work to be done, and a lot more due diligence and research and all the rest.
All the planning stage.
But that's great. So that's probably about an 18-month project. Right. So it's very much a completely new area for us, and it's been something that we've been looking at and pursuing for really for the last 12 months. And you have to keep trying in different ones, and some of them won't work for you, and then some of them do. So this one was absolutely great. So it's going to be a block of 11 new apartments. Right. So it's a completely, just like an empty field at the minute.
Is it?
Yeah,
right.
it is.
Okay.
So we've got to go through for planning and that, but it's had planning before. So and we've got our own planning consultants that are part of our team.
Brilliant.
Which is great, because every time I've identified a potential scheme, because they're part of my, they're in a retainer with MCG. So as soon as I see a scheme, I just fire it over to them. They do an appraisal on it, and they talk us through and give us all the information. Then I fire it over to our QS, who we also have as part of our team, and he'll do the costs on it. And then I'll straight away then say if it works or it doesn't. And I mean, it allows the process to move quicker, and then we can move on to the next one. So I say we've researched on quite a lot, but this one happens to at the minute this is certainly working, and it's been agreed to me and a new business partner that I'm working with, which again is another exciting part of the business, because it's only been MCG. I'm going to say MCG, it's the MCG team. There's a few of us there in the team, but this is a non-MCG business partner, which is great as well, because again, that just
new relationship.
Yeah, new relationships, and it brings new opportunities with it, and brings a new set of eyes. That can offer something totally independent and different.
That's right. Completely different experience. Oh, actually, we did such and such before. Oh, right, okay. I never even thought of that. That's a great thing to add.
It's really important, because as much as me and my colleagues and Stephen, my husband, who's the director of MCG as well, who's very much involved in the business as well, we're very much have our MCG investments hat on. Right. So it's good for somebody else to come in and look at it slightly different, and maybe not as blinded by our own company's views and plans. Exactly. So I'm delighted to work with her as well, and I'll continue on with all of my MCG work, but with her in a separate. And so that's really exciting that we get this. So the plan is obviously to get this one up and running. Right. And as well, obviously, we're all obviously out to make money, and the numbers have to add up, and the numbers have to work. But this one is more about the experience, and trying to learn how this works, how this area, how this strategy and an area of property works, more than the money.
Right.
Well, there's certainly good returns in it, but for me, this is about learning everything there is to know about new builds, because that's the area then that we want to move into with the company.
Okay.
So you know, we'll figure out, and we'll no doubt make a lot of mistakes in this one, and we'll learn from them, and that's all part of the journey. And I'm very much already expecting that, and quite
love it.
You know, welcoming and encouraging it, because I'll only help grow them whenever I make the mistakes that I inevitably will on a new area. That's all part and parcel of it. But we're looking at other different as part of the new build. You know, not just new build for private purchase. So we're working with a number of social housing associations as well.
Oh, fantastic!
So there's a few areas that are outside the private new build that we're communicating with those organisations on. So that would be very much for the longer plan.
That is fantastic. Oh, it's all
that
happening.
Should be good.
It is all happening. I can see a future show. I can see you coming back here, tell you, arriving by private jet again, no doubt. We've done this now, Richard. We've done that now. Absolutely superb.
It's great.
What a girl. Well, see, I told you, I brought you a cracker. And she is. We're going to let this glamorous lady step back onto a Monaco jet.
I wish.
Like Scarlett Johansson just leaving the film set, no doubt.
Wouldn't I love to be going to Monaco?
But listen, honestly, for your time today, for helping everyone, for sharing your story, thanks a million, Tanya.
No problem at all. Very glad to be here, and thank you for having me. It's been great.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did. Remember, with the guests that you just saw, go into the show notes for the page, because all of their links are there so that you can get in touch and to get more information. And talking about getting more information, more guests, more insights, more knowledge, etc., make sure you're subscribed. Get the subscription done, get the notifications on, and then we'll always keep in touch with you every single time a brand new show is going to come out. So thanks for tuning to This Week in Property.